I'm just experimenting, trying a new way to do this, but also I don't know whether I'm going to have a reaction. I don't know whether I'm going to react. I can't always take all the information in. Here we go for Joe. I'm going to pause it. I'm struggling with things that I'm thinking in my head and wanting to watch the whole thing, but also knowing that I think I'm supposed to be sharing what things I'm thinking. What I was smiling about then was, oh boy, this is different to some of the things I've heard. Some of you know that I really don't know Ren's work. What I shared with you initially was I went down the rabbit hole, and it was the reaction videos that I'd been watching a load of. It wasn't all of Ren's work. So what made me smile was, oh, this makes me feel better about trying different things, trying things that nobody's asking for. You know, when you're creating and making things, I don't know, it just suddenly made me feel better about, I can try new things. It's okay.
It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside the trunk, inside the pickup truck, then dumped that whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes, vividly. What it felt like to look down and see tranquility. One sudden movement in a world of possibility. Only one movement to expose our fragility. I fucking miss you, and I miss myself. I miss thinking we were indestructible as hell. I miss chilling by the pier cave and kicking back with Callum, Hugo, Justin, Sega, Stevie and the fucking lads. I miss missing that. I numb myself to close the gap. I never even call them up. Distance is my plaster cast, to tell the truth. The day you jumped, my childhood jumped too. But I still can't find the angle. All I find is missing you, man, I miss you. With all my rhymes, I picture running 5 minutes quicker, I'm right on time. I picture pulling you back over the edge and then we're crying. And holding you, my brother, and telling you that it's fine, not the way that it worked. I was late like a jerk, there's not a day where I can find a way to break from the hurt. Your body missing, so we never got to wave to the hearse. I hope you're listening, I love you, man, I miss you, absurd, fuck. Another domino, it falls. Across the way another's born. How you're supposed to raise a child and give it courage from a storm. In a world that is confusing, contradictions pave our flaws. Some will say we're only human, others judge us for our flaws. Some get born in sheets of satin, some get by in tattered clothes. Some will die before they live, that's just how the story goes. But for those of us still with us, who reside inside our hearts, tell them proudly how you feel. And for those of us who aren't, freckled angels stand strong, freckled angels live on, freckled angels climb higher, freckled angels still inspire, freckled angels won't forget you, teach me to live my life better. 13 years and still I miss you, now my wings are missing feather. Otherwise I'd come and join you, but for now I'm here on earth, stuck inside this mortal body. But for everything it's worth, made me braver, made me wiser, made me stronger, made me true, made me face the world with courage. And that's all because of you. Freckled angels laugh the hardest, and their hearts, they are the largest. With their wings, they fly the farthest. So I know you're gonna be okay. Freckled angels live the longest, and their minds, they are the strongest. Oh, their friends, they are the fondest. So I know you're gonna be okay.
Okay. Okay. What was I thinking? Is that where the freckled angels thing? I keep seeing freckled angels, but I don't know enough about the whole body of music to know. Is this talking about this friend, the freckled angels? I don't know. I'm getting confused about all the different references and stuff. It was interesting to hear that. Well, what I heard. I'm sorry, the dog is pitter-pattering around. Hey, hold on a sec. What I heard at the end of the song was that his voice seemed to be breaking a little bit, and it's interesting that how that had a response, or I felt a response for that. Very often in the songs that he's done and the reaction videos that I've attempted to do, there was way too much information and story and information coming at me, and I just couldn't process it. But this one was better for that, and that I was just listening to the story. I don't know anything about this story. I knew that there was a friend that had done this or experienced this, and that had an impact on Ren, but I didn't know any of the details of that. So it's interesting. It's interesting the elements that he's chosen to keep in the story, and that he's decided to leave out. And obviously it's focusing on missing him and how you go on and the impact that's had on him. I was attracted to looking at this song today because I was reading a news article about families that were trying to get justice for their children that had been in similar situations. I know you've got to be so careful about how you talk about all this. And I was reading a newspaper article. I feel like I'm tiptoeing over so many subjects here that I don't know what you're allowed to say. Isn't that awful that you're not allowed? It's interesting because I began this video by thinking, I do have permission and I can make things and I can create things. But there is obviously the part of it is YouTube rules about what you can and can't say, and then there's another part which is kind of, I don't want to upset anybody by bringing up certain things. So there is that desire to censor yourself, but obviously there's that conflict, isn't there, as a creator, of you want to say things but you know that some people may be upset by what you're saying. I think what I'm taking away from this reaction video is I feel like I'm not really reacting to his song. I feel like I'm just thinking about my own experience as a creator, that at the beginning it was, I can try something different, I can do something different, and then later, now what I'm feeling is there's things that you can't say, and there's things that maybe need to be said, but you've got to be super careful about the way you say it, and there is that tension. And I saw somebody talking about tension, and they were talking about two opposing forces, and they were saying how if you had just one force of, yay, you can say everything, that would be pushing that way, and then there's pushing the other way is, no, be careful about what you say, or maybe you shouldn't, and in a way the two forces acting against each other means that movement can happen in, I'm tempted to say a safer way, but a more controlled way, that movement can happen rather than whoosh, either direction. And I really like that. And I think that relates to some of Ren's work when he is talking about one part of him or another. I wonder whether you need those opposing forces. And I feel like I feel like his hardcore fans are saying, no, talk about the music and analyse the music, where I've just completely gone into my own world as a creator and thought of the tension and the problems that I feel I'm having of, I want to create and I want to make things, and part of me wishes just go for it and do whatever you want, and that's exciting. And then coming in at the end, I'm questioning whether I can say things and how tricky it is to talk about something. And I started saying about a story I was aware of, but I think I'm going to save that for another day. It's a campaign, it's a group that I'm involved with, and obviously it does talk about mental health and different things like that, but I'm so there's so many layers to that particular story, and there's so much to it, which is why I was interested in how Ren told the story, because he is talking about missing his friend, but there's always so much more than, what is it, 4-minute song. There's always so much more than that, and I wonder about this particular story that I'm thinking of. There's part of me that would love to do a documentary or something much bigger. I mean, way out of my skill levels and my ability. I don't know. There's so many aspects of these stories that I want to learn from. But coming back to my experience as a creator, it's that feeling of it's not just about worrying about the people who set the rules, like YouTube, what they say and what they don't say. It is a genuine feeling of, I don't want to upset people. I don't want to talk about things that are going to bring up bad memories or make them feel worse. And at the same time, there's that desire to express yourself. And so it is. I do think we need those opposing forces. And maybe that is the way that you have that controlled movement and forward and progress. And maybe that's why you need both of them. And I think that's what I'm going to take away from this recording. Okay, bye.